Welcome, everyone, to Drunk Bible Study Bonus Edition, where we talk to you all about the things that we didn't freaking understand from the main episode. That was a lot. It's usually a lot. But we're going to start off with some stuff that I didn't understand regarding gin, which, you know, I'm pretty good, I think, on wine knowledge and on alcohol. In general, I like to drink it.
I'm good on alcohol drinking, less on making.
I can make drinks, but not like drinks from scratch, like the spirit from scratch, rather. So yeah, learning about gin, I learned way more than I ever intended to learn from the interwebs. But Dedeker had brought something up that she distilled her own gin from vodka.
I infused, I think is the correct verb.
Fine. Okay, you infused vodka and then made it into gin. And is that because you infused it? Did you infuse it with juniper?
Yes, with juniper berries.
Okay, amongst, your cardamom and your ginger and what have you.
Well, it was juniper berries first. First you infuse it into being like a gin.
Yes.
Then you take that and then add extra things to infuse it with other spices and fun things.
Okay, well done. Yes, because I learned from craftginclub.co.uk that yes, gin must be a neutral spirit distilled from something natural like wheat, barley, potatoes, or grapes. So that makes sense that you can start off with vodka because vodka is generally potato or barley, right?
Or sometimes rice too, right?
Yeah, I've seen quinoa.
Vodka?
I've seen quinoa gin recently.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
At Whole Foods. I mean, you get, whatever kind of random crap at like organic shit at Whole Foods. Here's your quinoa vodka. Yeah. So I'm assuming you can do stuff like that. But yes, the flavor of the gin comes from the botanicals, but the predominant flavor must be juniper. Otherwise, the drink can't be defined as gin by law, is what I learned. And then there must be at least 37.5% of pure alcohol in the total volume of liquid. That's a ton. Not as much as whiskey, but it's a lot. And just so y'all know, there's 3 traditional types of gin: London, Dry, Plymouth Gin, and Old Tom Gin. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap in here about it. You can check it out. Bathtub gin was that illegal prohibition type gin in the 1920s.
Yeah, love that.
So yes, compound gin or bathtub gin was what was illegally made at home during the American Prohibition in the 1920s. And it's a simpler process of fruit, herbs, vegetables, or spices added to a neutral-based spirit and let to infuse with flavors. But people died from that shit. They died from having that gin. I don't know what happened.
They were so desperate to just be able to get drunk.
Exactly. But people would get poisoned and stuff. And so it's kind of like, are you going to get poisoned or are you going to have a good time? I don't know.
Now,
I
mean, that's kind of true of all alcohol, isn't it?
If you have enough. But, I like my organic vodka and my organic Hendrick's really expensive top shelf gin. That's what I'm drinking.
Just being
days.
Organic or not does not also mean whether or not it could kill you or make you go blind. They're kind of two unrelated things.
If you have enough of it, yes.
To be totally honest, people making bathtub gin back in the 1920s, it was probably organic.
Yeah.
It was probably 100% organic.
So they're two separate things. Being organic and being poison are two different things that are not mutually exclusive.
I have had 1 3-ounce shot of gin in my alcoholic beverage today. It was delightful, but that is not going to kill me.
So
maybe over time, but not right now.
This is reminding me of a little song that I remember learning from my grandma.
Oh, yeah?
Who I guess lived, she was probably very young during Prohibition times, but the song went like this.
Was she alive? But she was alive during Prohibition?
My grandmother was born in 1921. So technically, kind of alive. But
I'm trying to think how old my grandma was. I mean, but yeah, she would have been like a baby around Prohibition times, right? So
Prohibition was from 1920 to 1933.
Yeah, my grandmother was a little baby.
She was a baby.
Into 12.
Small child. She was not drinking bathtub gin at the time.
No.
Which is probably why she lived to be as old as she was. But anyway, the song that I learned from her went like this. It went, Lincoln, Lincoln, I've been thinking, what's that stuff that you've been drinking? Is it liquor or is it wine? Oh my gosh, it's turpentine. That was the...
Why did she teach you that song?
I don't know. Just for fun, for gigs, for giggles.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cute.
But and I didn't get it at the time, and I think that at some point
well, how could you?
Yeah, obviously. But my parents explained to me at the time, they're like, yeah, the song comes from a time during Prohibition when people, when alcohol was illegal, and some people were so desperate to like get alcohol that they would drink turpentine because it had alcohol in it. And it was just this like mind-blowing concept at the time. But anyway, that just came to mind.
Amazing.
Well, thank you, Jace's grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Well, that's a little about gin.
Wow.
How about y'all? What do y'all have to say?
I want to talk to you about prophets. The all-American prophet. No, I'm actually not going to talk.
Wait, was he a prophet?
Heck yes. Heck yes, he was.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So for those of you who didn't get it, I was talking about Book of Mormon, where they talk about Joseph Smith being the all-American prophet. And here's the deal. Mostly, okay, when you try to look up stuff about modern-day prophets and whether they still exist, you're going to get very different answers depending on what source you find, just based on what that person's faith is, what they believe in, stuff like that, right? And so a lot of what you find is either going to be talking about how much so-and-so is a prophet, or it's going to be talking about how all these prophets are fake.
Of course.
Right? And so, yeah, as with anything that comes to religion, you're not going to get any sort of real answers.
Yeah.
It's because it's so slanted by what you believe in. But I did want to hit you with kind of some terms that are relevant to this that I think can kind of help when you're encountering religions or denominations of Christianity or things like that might sort of help.
Okay.
So one of those is this conflict between what's called cessationism and continuationism. So cessationism is the belief that prophecy or like direct messages from God ceased. They cessationized. Cessationism. So they ceased after what is referred to as the apostolic age, which is basically 1st century AD or CE, whichever system you want to use. Basically like the time from Jesus through the book of like Acts and Ephesians and like basically during the writing of the New Testament or during the events of the New Testament. They're basically saying that after that point, God stopped talking. That's it. That's all we got. And that's cessationism, is that belief.
Interesting. Okay.
And then its opposite is continuationism, which is the belief that spiritual gifts, and this is not just prophecy, but also like the ability to do miracles and stuff, right? That we see those in the Bible, that continuationism believes those still exist, that those still happen. And this includes things like prophecy, divine healing, speaking in tongues is a category of this, all that sort of stuff. And so just look like quickly, some denominations that have preached continuationism are things like Catholics, Methodists, Moravians, and Pentecostal traditions.
Oh yeah, definitely the Pentecostals.
Right.
You people know things that I don't know.
Yeah, there's also like some variation within Lutheranism or Presbyterianism, and the Anglican Church tends to be more cessationist, but there's some people who maybe believe in a little bit of continuationism. Okay. And if you think about like the Catholic Church with saints and stuff happening post Jesus, right? Like they were Catholic saints, and that by definition has to be post Jesus.
Yeah.
Doing miracles and being saints and prophesying and stuff, that's sort of a continuationist belief. And so then there's kind of within that is this term continuous revelation. And this is a little bit different, but related. And essentially continuous revelation is the idea that God continues to reveal divine principles or like continues to reveal commandments or truths to humans throughout time. And then even within that, there's specific faiths like the Baha'i faith who believe in what's called progressive revelation, which is kind of related to continuous revelation. But in that, when in progressive revelation, the idea is that truth, like God's truth, is continuously being revealed in sort of a cyclical way over time through divine messengers, so prophets and stuff like that, but that message is progressive in the sense that it changes over time based on what's happening, based on like modern day, what's relevant to today.
I see. So like his approach changes as he goes along.
Right.
That seems convenient, but okay.
Right. Well, it's interesting you say that, Emily, that sounds convenient because that's the conflict, right? On the one hand, you have the people who say, well, that's convenient that God can just say whatever you think he says or it says or she says or whatever at this time. That's bullshit. But then you have the other people that go, okay, if God is still around and still relevant, wouldn't they still be giving us messages as the world changes and technology changes and relevant things changes, rather than saying, oh, well, these things that he said 2,000 years ago, that's the last word. So like on either side, you could make a compelling case of why the other is wrong, right? Right. So just, I guess, to kind of finish this out, quick roundup, Catholicism, like I said, the saints, they got prophets, stuff like that. Jehovah's Witness, this one's kind of fun. In Jehovah's Witness, they don't necessarily believe in like there is a prophet of this religion, but more that Jehovah's Witness as a group are prophets.
They are prophets.
Like we are legion. We are Borg.
Goodness.
We are prophet. You know?
We are okay.
Right. Let's see here. It says, like in The Watchtower, which is the Jehovah's Witness publication, they say, ever since The Watchtower began to be published in July 1879, it has looked ahead into the future. No, The Watchtower is no inspired prophet, but it follows and explains a book of prophecy, the predictions in which have proven to be unerring and unfailing. This is kind of this idea that like we sort of as a collective are prophet, but we as individuals are not. Which is kind of a unique take. Latter-day Saints, the all-American prophet, Joseph Smith, for sure. He was considered a prophet. The current president of the church, Russell M. Nelson, is also a prophet and the president of the church. Yeah, all the leaders of the Mormon church or the Latter-day Saints church have been prophets, according to their beliefs. Adventism, they believe in prophets, although the founder of Adventism, who is like mid-19th century, so like 1800s or whatever, he predicted the second coming of Christ, of the Messiah.
Oh, wow.
And that it would happen by 1844.
Okay.
And then when it didn't happen, it led to what is referred to as, quote, the Great Disappointment. Which is a fantastic name.
I bet it is. I bet it's a great disappointment. Oh, man.
Let's see. Seventh-day Adventists believe that the founder, one of the founders, Ellen G. White, was a prophet. Anyway, there's lots of other ones. A lot of these are denominations I've never even heard of, but there's lots of them. And then that's only in the Judeo-Christian world, right? Like within Islam, there are sects that believe in prophets. And then there are prophets in completely other religions too, right? Like Native American religions or things like that. So, but just focusing on sort of the Bible and that lineage, that's kind of the divide. Is God still speaking and revealing things to us or not?
Is God still speaking at all? Yes.
Is God still speaking? Yeah, that's the question.
What if God was one of us?
Yeah, just a stranger on the bus, you know? Like
trying to make his way home, man.
Yeah.
Dang.
Man.
Man. Okay.
Man, what a topic.
Yeah,
Indeed.
really.
What a deep dive. Well, I'm going to talk to you more about Psalms, if that's all right.
I love that.
With all y'all. So, first thing that we noticed in reading Psalm 42 is that big announcement of like, this is book 2.
Yeah.
Of apparently
what?
A 5-book division
of
the Psalms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah. So divided in 5. We're 2/5 of the way through.
1/5 of the way through.
1/5 the way through. We've gotten to the beginning of 2/5.
We're on to the second fifth.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, book 1 is Psalms 1 to 41. Book 2 is 42 to 72. Book 3 is 73 to 89. Book 4 is 90 to 106. And book 5 is 107 to 150.
Okay.
So we have this question of like, did David actually write this? Especially because right at the top, they're like, is Sons of Korah.
Yeah.
A contemplation by the Sons of Korah. So if you remember Korah, do we remember Korah?
The Legend
first of all,
yes.
From
all I know is
the Legend of, but I mean, actually, Korah, there was a story related to Korah in Numbers way back with Moses.
I don't remember.
No, I don't.
Okay. I'll jog your memory and then you'll remember. So Korah was Moses' cousin. And he was the one who led a revolt against Moses.
Yes.
Oh, no.
And then
yes, I remember now.
God killed him and all his conspirators by having the earth
swallow them up. Yeah.
Yes.
That was good times.
Yes. However, in Numbers, it was very specific that the children of Korah died not. So, as in like Korah and all the people that he specifically got to revolt with him, they died, but his lineage could still go on, which is a surprising thing for Yahweh to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Chronicles, apparently the Korahites were the porters of the temple, and quote unquote, one of them was over, quote, things that were made in the pans. As in
the pans?
He was the frying guy.
The frying pans, yes. I guess part of the meat offering stuff that was made in pans.
Right.
Yes. Now, I went down a little bit of a Wikipedia rabbit hole. You know how you do a Wikipedia where you like click on one link and then another link and then another link and then another link and then you're just several levels deep.
Yeah.
And I found there's a band called Sons of Korah.
Nice.
Where literally all their music is just putting the Psalms to music. They're a band that actually was founded in Victoria in Australia, where I am right now. Now, I went and listened to some of their stuff, some of their most recent stuff, and I'm not going to play you any of it because it's actually good. I think
that's not funny.
Really? When I listened to it, I of course I didn't have the time to listen to their entire back catalog, but the few selections that I listened to, I was like, oh wow, this actually sounds interesting. It's very like they get in some kind of like post-rock influences.
That's fun.
In there. It's actually very modern sounding and very interesting, like doesn't sound like traditional CCM, in my opinion. Of course, I was listening to their newer stuff, so maybe they had some more CCM worship music roots, but
what's CCM?
Yeah, their new contemporary Christian music.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just, that was the acronym for my college, Cincinnati Conservatory of Music.
Oh, yeah,
so
I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. That's something
it's
entirely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I listened to them and was like, okay, I think these guys are actually good. So that's not very interesting. But what I am going to play for you is, as soon as we read this psalm, immediately I was like, oh, this sounds like I think this is a song that I sang growing up in church. You know, this line about the deer pantething for the water sounds really, really similar or really familiar. And sure enough, yes, I found the song. As soon as I listened to it, I got the eye twitches, which seems to be a recurring theme now in the bonus. That like we stumble onto a psalm that's connected to a hymn, and I listen to it. I'm like, oh God, right, this song. So we'll listen to a little bit of this song. This is As the Deer Pants for the Water. This is a cover by Robin Mark, whoever that is. This is yet another one of those songs that can be filed away under, we are white evangelicals who've had all the money and all the power for years, and yet our worship music sounds like snore.
All the vowels and none of the consonants.
Maybe.
Garble the consonants.
Let's listen. Our audience can decide for themselves.
Okay.
As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone.
Yeah, he's doing that worship leader thing.
Yeah.
Where you gotta prompt the verse.
You
you
got to
alone.
remind people this is what's coming next.
Yes. We can stop it there. We can stop it there because I'm already asleep.
Jace was singing along.
I was doing hand gestures and everything. Yeah.
That's the thing. As soon as I found that clip and it started up, it was like muscle memory in my mouth.
Yeah.
Wow. Where immediately, like the lyrics, it was like they're still in there. They're still in there.
Yeah.
What's funny is also about this kind of music is that I'm actually not even sure if I've heard this song before, but I could sing it to you 100% right now.
That's the whole thing about contemporary Christian music, worship
so
music.
Predictable.
Is that it's designed to. It's so predictable. You can pick it up very quickly.
Yep. Yep. But just that, it's like you could play me just that first bit that just goes bum 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 bum, and you could stop there, and I would know that the rest goes bum 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 bum. It's just like so obvious. It's so predictable.
Amazing.
I played in a lot of church bands too, so I've got extra exposure to this kind of thing. So
yes,
I guess that's that. I also this is a fun note to end on maybe, that on this video here, there's a little note. The description of this video just says, please don't make illegal downloads from this video unless you already own a legal copy of the song. Thank you. I like that it's don't make illegal downloads unless you own a legal copy. And then you can make illegal downloads. It's a little just confusing.
Many illegal downloads as you like.
It's very strange.
It's confusing logic.
Very strange.
Yeah. But I like it. Thank you.
Goodness.
Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Well, that was a fun time learning about jinn and prophets and psalms. And we've got more to learn, more to read, more to see and do. And we will see you all next week on Drunk Bible Study.